Let's have a go at factorising some quadratic expressions. So remember, a quadratic expression is of the form ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b and c stand for numbers. In this video, we're just going to focus on the case where a equals 1. So let's have a look at this question here. It says factorise x squared plus 7x plus 12. So the first thing to notice is that it falls into our case where a equals 1, because it's not 3x squared or 2x squared or anything, it's just x squared. It's 1x squared. So this is our case where a equals 1. So let me write out this expression here on the side. So we have x squared plus 7x plus 12, and we want to factorise this. So factorise basically means put into brackets. So the first thing to do when you get a factorise question for when a equals 1 is we do an equal sign here. You're going to do two sets of brackets, say like this, and you're going to write an x at the beginning of each. So we've got two brackets with x starting both of them. The next thing you want to do is write down pairs of numbers that multiply to give 12. We have 2 and 6. We have 1 times 12 is 12, and we have 3 times 4 is 12. So I think that's all of them, but be careful to make sure you write down all the pairs that multiply to give this number. So at the moment we're just focusing on this number here, and now we want to look at the number in front of the x, but this time we care about the sign as well. So here we were just looking at the 12. It didn't matter if it was plus or minus, we just want the number part, the 12. Here we now want to look at the sign in front of the 7 as well, so we're looking at plus 7. And now the question is, can we combine any of these pairs of numbers to make plus 7 by adding or subtracting? So for instance, is plus 2 plus 6 plus 7? No, it's not. Plus 2 plus 6 is plus 8, which is not what we want. Minus 2 plus 6, that's going to be 4, not what we want. Minus 2 minus 6, that's minus 8, not what we want. And I think the final combination we haven't done is plus 2 and minus 6. Minus 4, not what we want. So this is not the pair that we want. We can try it with 1 and 12 as well. So we have to think there are 4 options. We can have plus 1 plus 12, minus 1 minus 12, plus 1 minus 12, or minus 1 plus 12. So we're doing all the combinations of plus and minus here. But I think it's pretty clear that you can't make plus 7 from putting pluses or minuses here. But what about 3 and 4? This is looking pretty clear to me that if we do plus 3 and plus 4, we get plus 7. So 3 plus 4 is 7. So this is the pair we want. And now what we do is write this first term here, this plus 3, in the bracket here. So in here, we have a plus 3, and then we write this second term here in the second bracket. So in here we have plus 4. So the answer is the factorised expression of x squared plus 7x plus 12 is x plus 3 in brackets times x plus 4 in brackets. And what we've done is we've just rewritten this in brackets so we can check that we've got the right answer by expanding this so we get this again. So if we expand these brackets here, so I'm just checking our answer, so we have x plus 3 times x plus 4. We can expand this by using the FOIL technique. So we do this term times by this term, and this term times by this term, and we do this term times by this term, and this term times by this one. So x times x is x squared, x times plus 4 is plus 4x, plus 3 times x is plus 3x, and plus 3 times plus 4 is plus 12. And we can simplify this by combining these terms because they have a single x in each. So that gives us x squared plus 7x plus 12. And that's the expression we started with. So we can check and be 100% sure that we've got the right answer. So that is our answer. Let's try another one. So here we have x squared plus 3x minus 10 that we want to factorise. So remember, our step 1 is we do our equal sign. We do two sets of brackets, and both of them are going to begin with x. Our next step is we write down pairs of numbers that multiply to give this number here, so that final number 10. So 5 and 2 multiply to give 10, and 1 times 10 is 10. I can't think of any others, I think that's it. Now we look at the number in front of the x, and we want to include the sign here, so we're looking at plus 3. Now we want to think, how can we combine these numbers to give us plus 3? So if we do plus 5 plus 2, that gives us plus 7, not what we want. We can try minus 5 plus 2, that gives us minus 3. Not okay. We can do minus 5 minus 2 minus 7, or we can do plus 5 minus 2, and that does give us plus 3. Plus 5 minus 2 is our plus 3, so that is the combination we want. So we were lucky this time, we didn't need to look at this other one. So sometimes when you go through your list, you'll find the pair you want quite quickly. Other times you might have to go through all your list of pairs of numbers that multiply to give this number, and maybe it will be the last one that you need to give you this number in front of the x. But anyway, we were lucky this time. We've got it in our first set of numbers here. So we have that 5 and 2 multiply to give us 10, and plus 5 minus 2 give us our plus 3. So now we take this first term and we write it in the bracket here. So we have plus 5 over here, and then we put the second term, our minus 2, in the next bracket. So we have minus 2 over here. Okay, so that's our answer. That is this expression factorised. We've put this expression in brackets. Again, we can check if we expand this out, that we get x squared, we simplify this, so we get plus 3x minus 10. So indeed we have the correct answer, because when we expand it out, we get back to where we started. So this is that expression factorised. Let's try one more question. So we're factorising x squared minus 10x plus 9. So again, our first thing is we do our equals, 2 sets of brackets, and an x at the beginning of both. Now we look at numbers that multiply to give us this number here, so 9. So I can think of 3 and 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Also 1 times 9 is 9. I think that's it. So those are our pairs of numbers that multiply to give us 9. We now look at the number in front of the x and we include the sign. So we're looking at minus 10. So now we want to think, how can we add and subtract these numbers to give us minus 10? So if we do plus 3, we get plus 6. That's not what we want. Minus 3 plus 3 is 0, as is plus 3 minus 3. Minus 3 minus 3 is minus 6. So no, that's not the one we want. We can't get minus 10 from 3 and 3. Let's try the second pair then. If you do plus 1 plus 9, that gives you plus 10. That's almost what we want, but we've got a minus here, not a plus. So instead, if we minus 1 and minus 9, we're going to get minus 10. Minus 1 minus 9 is minus 10. So this is what we want. As before, we write this first term in the first bracket and this second term in the second bracket. So we have minuses in both, and then in this first one we have a minus 1 and a minus 9. So that's this expression factorised. And again, let's do a quick check. So we can expand this out. So you can see that if we expand this out and simplify, we get the same expression. So that's just a quick check you can do in an exam or anything to make sure that you do have the correct expression. Yeah, so there we go. That was this expression factorised. So just remember, you're looking for pairs of numbers that multiply to give you this final term on the end here, this number here, and then you want to find ways to add and subtract to give you the number, including the sign, before the x. Once you've found that, you just copy the first term into the first bracket and the second term into the second bracket, and you're done. If you're feeling confident for factorising these expressions when a equals 1, have a look at my next video where we factorise some quadratic expressions where a is not 1 as well. Thanks for watching. Here's another video I think you'll like. Here's another video YouTube thinks you'll like. I have no idea what it is. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Who knows? If you like this video and want to see more aesthetic mathsy videos, do check out my channel and subscribe.